Hi everyone and welcome back to GK Today. I am Sia and very good morning. Here we are discussing the most important current affairs of 13 and 14 July 2025. Here we go. And the questions that we will discuss, a major report that is on a roadmap for strengthening state science and technology council. And also Frontier 2025, the weight of time. We will discuss an initiative just because of a recent collab between UNICEF India and the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and that is for the Talash initiative, a state festival recently declared by the Maharashtra. Also, Mumbai's Karnik Bridge, just because of its rename process. In term in news category, we will discuss Island Protection Zone. In award category, we will discuss Pen Pinter Prize. In a sports category, we will discuss International Shooting Sport Federation in context with India. And the update of Ministry of Heavy Industries in first of its kind, the first ever global conference on manuscript heritage in its host city, and a recent operation that is Kalini and Dholera Special Investment Region. And the most important thing, these questions are part of daily 20 MCQ series, and that is available in GK Today Android App only. Here we go with the first one. Which organization has launched the Talash initiative? Here we are discussing a major initiative, and just because of a recent collab between the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and UNICEF India, it is in news. So the implementing organization of Talash initiative, and that is option number D, NEST, stands for National Education Society for Tribal Students. So recently, the NEST, an autonomous organization under the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, launched the Talash initiative for tribal students and exactly for the Eklavya Model Residential Schools tribal student. Basically here Talash, it stands for Tribal Aptitude, Life Skills and Self-Esteem Hub. And point to be remembered, it is the first national level program in India focused on tribal students' education and personal growth. It was launched in collaboration with the UNICEF India and the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and the implementing agency is the NEST. So basically, the model Talash initiative, it is based on NCERT's Tamanna model, point to be remembered, and it is directly aligned with the National Education Policy 2020. Also, with this question, we will discuss some other point that is related with the UNICEF India, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and the Eklavya Model Residential Schools. So, first, the Eklavya Model Residential Schools. So, when were EMRSS first introduced in India? And that year was 1997-98. Right? And what is the exact goal of EMRS? So the exact goal is to educate tribal children, especially focused on SC tribal student, the Eklavya Model Residential Schools. And recently the Talash initiative is launched in the Eklavya Model Residential School, a point that is related with the Eklavya school, and that is non-ST students can be admitted to up to 10% of the total seats in the Eklavya model school. Very important point it is. Now here we are discussing the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. So who was India's first Minister of Tribal Affairs? Point to be remembered, the recent Cabinet Minister of Tribal Affairs is also the first Cabinet Minister of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and that is only Joal Oram, right? And we will discuss some recent schemes that was launched by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. The first one, Vandhan scheme. Basically, its implementing year was 14th of April 2018, and its nodal agency is TRIFED. Here, TRIFED stands for Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation of India. And the basic goal of Vandhan scheme, and that is to improve tribal income through value addition of minor forest produce. So MFP, the minor forest produce, to secure the livelihood of tribal group and it is related with the One Dhan scheme of Ministry of Tribal Affairs. The second one, here we are discussing the One Bandhu Kalyan Yojana. Basically, its implementing year was 2014-15, and it is centrally funded scheme. And the goal of One Bandhu Kalyan Yojana is the holistic outcome-based development of all tribal people. And basically, its total budget was 100 crore for 2014 and 15 fiscal year, and it is central sector scheme, the One Bandhu Kalyan Yojana. Also, here we are discussing the Tribal Pride Day, also known as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, and that is celebrated annually on 15th of November to honor the tribal leader Birsa Munda's birth anniversary. Overall, here is another scheme, and that is PM Janman. That stands for Janjati Adivasi Nyay Maha Abhiyan. And now you have to answer, what is the implementing year of PM Janman scheme, which functions under the Ministry of Minority Affairs. Right? Moving on, here we are discussing some other updates that is related with the tribal community of India, and they are: which ministry has launched the Adi Karma Yogi program to bridge gaps between tribal welfare policies and real implementation. And that is launched by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, whose cabinet minister is Jawal Oram. Which university has launched Jai Hind scheme to train tribal students, and that is by Delhi University. Which ministry has launched the largest tribal empowerment campaign, Dharti Aba Jan Bhagidari Abhiyan, and basically it is also by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Which state government has recently launched a border tourism initiative to promote sustainable tourism in tribal areas, and that is by Himachal Pradesh. Which state government has approved the homestay policy 2530 to promote tourism in rural and tribal areas, and that state government is Chhattisgarh. Which state is the host of National Tribal Youth Festival, and that is Mizoram. And Kannadappiya, a traditional tribal handicraft, from which Indian state was recently awarded the GI tag, and it is basically from Kerala state. Here we go, the next one. Here we are discussing the new Karnik Bridge, and is located in Mumbai. So what is the new name of Mumbai's Karnik Bridge? And that is option number C, Sindoor Bridge. So recently, the new Karnik Bridge was inaugurated in Mumbai and renamed as Sindoor Bridge on 10th of July. And the renaming honors the success of Operation Sindoor and aims to raise the operative legacy of British Governor Karnik. The name change was inspired by the historical writing highlighting Karnik's conspiracies against Indian rulers like Pratap Singh Raje Chhatrapati. Alright, now we are discussing the Operation Sindoor. Launching date of Operation Sindoor, and that was on 7th of May 2025, and the target areas exactly these 9 sites of Pakistan based terror camps, exactly the area of Pakistan and the POK. And to major name that is associated with the Operation Sindoor, and that is Wing Commander Vyomika Singh and the Colonel Sophia Qureshi, the face of the Operation Sindoor as per the Government of India. And also Mumbai. So can you answer which island group is Mumbai located on? And that is the Salsette Island group only. Moving on, here we are discussing some other bridges that was in current affairs, and they are: which ministry has launched the Adi Karma Yogi program to bridge? Basically, it is by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. We already discussed. What is a Bailey bridge? That was recently mentioned in news. So basically, it is a type of modular bridge with pre-built parts, and just because of recent collapse, it was in news. Which is the world's highest railway arc bridge that was recently inaugurated by PM of India, and that is Chenab Rail Bridge in Jammu and Kashmir region. Dhubri Phulburi Brahmaputra Bridge connects which two Indian states, and they are Assam and Meghalaya. Which country has introduced the world's highest bridge called the Huziang Grand Canyon Bridge, and that is China. Point to be remember, it is in developing process. Once it completed, it will be the first highest bridge in the world, but at now the first highest bridge is located in the France. Where was India's first vertical railway sea bridge inaugurated recently? And that is the Pamban Bridge located in Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. What is the name of India's first cable state rail bridge located in Jammu and Kashmir? And that is Anjikhat Bridge. Moving on, here we are discussing the International Shooting Sport Federation in context with India. So, which country is the host of ISSF World Cup 2027? And that is India. So, recently India secured the hosting rights for two major shooting events from the ISSF, and that is the first one. New Delhi will host the combined ISSF World Cup in 2027, and the second one, the ISSF Junior World Championship, and that will be in 2028. So the announcement was made during the ISSF Executive Committee meeting. Overall, this is not the first time when India will host the ISSF World Cup. Previously, India hosted 6 times the ISSF World Cup. Overall, the first rifle pistol World Cup that was hosted by India, and that year was 2017. The first shotgun World Cup that was hosted by India, and that year was 1997. And the first World Cup, the ISSF World Cup, was launched in 1986, and the host city is the Mexico City. Overall, you have to remember, in the category of ISSF Junior World Championship, this will be the first time for India to host it. Moving on, here we are discussing the first ever global conference on manuscript heritage. So, what is the title of India's first ever global conference on manuscript heritage? And that is option number C, Reclaiming India's Knowledge Legacy Through Manuscript Heritage. So recently, the Ministry of Culture, whose cabinet minister is Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, announced India's first ever global conference on manuscript heritage to preserve and promote ancient knowledge. So basically, the 3-day conference titled Reclaiming India's Knowledge Legacy Through Manuscript Heritage will be held from 11th to 13th of September at Bharat Mandapam, New Delhi. And the event was announced on Guru Purnima, honoring India's Guru Shishya tradition and age-old traditional knowledge system. And also it commemorates Swami Vivekananda's iconic speech at the Parliament of the World's Religion on September 11, 1893. So a very important point, which Chicago event in 1893 did Swami Vivekananda famously address, and that is the Parliamentary of the World's Religion. Moving on, here we are discussing a major operation, that is Kalini. So, which state government has launched Operation Kalini to act against fake cents cheating the public, and that is by Uttarakhand. So, recently Uttarakhand launched Operation Kalini, and the directive was issued by the CM to state police for strict enforcement. Overall, the operation is named after Kalini, a demon from Hindu mythology who misled people by posing as a saint, and it targets individual affecting religious figures and exploiting the faith of devotees, especially the women's. Overall, it is launched by the Uttarakhand government. Moving on, the next one. Which institution released a strategic report, a roadmap for strengthening state science and technology council? And that is by option number A, Niti Aayog. So recently, Niti Aayog released this strategic report to boost decentralized innovation in India. The report emphasizes transforming state science and technology councils into mission-oriented institutions that aligns science and technology with local development needs. It was developed through regional consultation and a national workshop, and a multi-stakeholder engagement is the part of this recent meeting, and the report and this report was developed through regional consultation, and the roadmap highlights the need for techno-administrative leadership and strong science, technology, and innovation data system. Overall, here we are discussing the Niti Aayog. What year was Niti Aayog established? And that is 2015. And it has replaced the Planning Commission in 2014. Who is the first CEO of Niti Aayog? And that is Sindhushri Khullar. And the recent CEO of Niti Aayog that you have to mention in the comment box. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a state festival that is recently declared by the government of Maharashtra. So, the state government has declared Sarvajanik Ganeshotsav as the official state festival, and that is by Maharashtra. So, the announcement was made by the Culture Affairs Minister, and that is Ashish Shelar, in the Legislative Assembly of the Maharashtra. Overall, the Ganeshotsav was started by Lokmanya Tilak in 1893 to promote social unity and nationalism. Overall, the Maharashtra government officially declared the Ganeshotsav as state festival recently. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing Island Protection Zone IPZ, and that is a regulatory framework to safeguard the ecological integrity of which region. And exactly it is related with the Andaman and Nicobar Island and the Lakshadweep Island. So IPZ, it is focused for the island development, and that is particularly for the Andaman and Nicobar and the Lakshadweep. And recently the Union Environment Ministry extended the validity of infrastructure projects that was approved under the 2011 Islands Protection Zone notification. Overall, IPZ that was created in 2011 to protect the ecosystem of Andaman and Nicobar Island and the Lakshadweep Islands only. And it aligned with the Niti Aayog's Island Development Vision. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing the major update from the Ministry of Heavy Industries, whose recent cabinet minister is H.D. Kumar Swamy. So the Ministry of Heavy Industries launched an incentive scheme for e-trucks, under which scheme, and that is option number B, PM E-Drive scheme. Exactly, PM E-Drive scheme was implemented in 2024 with the target year of 2026, and the total budget for this scheme is 10,900 crore. So recently the government launched the first ever incentive scheme for electric trucks under the PM E-Drive scheme to promote clean freight mobility. Overall, the scheme was launched by the Ministry of Heavy Industries to support India's net zero emission goal, and that is by 2070. It aims to deploy around 5,600 e-trucks across India, encouraging indigenous manufacturing and reducing logistic cost and carbon. Overall point, and that is related with the Bharat Heavy Electricals. Basically, their role, BHEL acts as the central coordinator for the PM E-Drive scheme. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing another report, and that is which organization has released a report titled Frontiers 25 the Weight of Time. And recently, it is released by the UNEP, the United Nations Environment Program. Overall, the report highlights the rising vulnerability of older adults to extreme weather, especially in urban areas and low to middle income countries. So, in context with India, in India, people aged 65 and above experience 2.1 to 4 more heat waves per day between 1986 to 2005 and 2013 to 2022, as per this report. So, basically, the reports calls for the urban greenery, weather monitoring, disaster risk management, and community support. We will discuss a point, and that is related with the UNEP. So, when was UNEP founded? And that year was 1972. And their headquarters basically is at Nairobi and Kenya. And what major global event led to the establishment of UNEP? And that is the 1972 Stockholm Conference. A very important point related with the UNEP. So with this question, we are completing this session here, and the quiz of the day, it is associated with the sports current affair that you have to mention in the comment box. Please do revision and take care, and for more information, you can check the description box just below the video.